Another exciting WebFire Wednesday webinar. We are ready to make some exciting stuff happen. So hopefully you guys are having a great week and ready to go. Learn some stuff, see some good stuff, take action, rock and roll, all that kind of good stuff. All right, I'm seeing everybody checking in saying they're doing great. Superb. Okay, again, this is Sean Casey. We're here on our WebFire Wednesday webinar. Live Q&A and website reviews, what we're going to be doing today. So without further ado, let's get rolling along. Of course, every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, we host a live training and Q&A webinar for our WebFire members. These trainings feature me, Sean Casey, or Brian Cause, my partner, or both of us, and sometimes a special guest if we think that's going to benefit you. If you're registered, you're going to get a reminder each week so you don't forget, but if you do miss out, all the recordings are posted in the members area within a day of any of the calls under the training tab on the left side navigation bar. You can use these webinars to get more training, ask strategy questions, get feedback, make suggestions on what else you'd like to see, etc. To try to make it very interactive. And you can check out all the prior trainings, because a lot of times people will be like, oh, I want to see a training on Shopify, or I want to see a training on how to be an affiliate. We've done that, and generally more than once we've done that, and you can find those in the prior trainings. We're always glad to do updated training, but you don't have to wait for us to do a training on something that you want to know about like that, because generally we've already done that and it's in the system. Just a reminder of our rules for success. Follow the steps and trainings we have. Okay, we're going to be talking about that as we look at some of these sites. Don't give up. Keep trying stuff. You can seek help when you need it, but don't get too dependent. A lot of times, a lot of the questions even that get posted to us are literally like, you know, hey, what's this? And there are times I literally will take that, copy that question, put it into Google, copy the answer back over, because it's faster and easier than me trying to explain it, okay? And no whining or negative attitudes. The quickest way to fail is to become a whiner, a complainer, and blame other people. Just go forward, take action, be positive. It'll work. All right, and so we're moving into content. Let me jump around here. Let's see where we are here. Okay, we're going to start with this absolutely gorgeous site. Is this awesome or what? This site belongs to James, and it gets lots of traffic but doesn't get a lot of orders. And I know you guys will be impressed by the slick graphics and everything else in this site. Now, for those of you who weren't around on the internet like 15 years ago, this is the kind of site you would have seen 15 years ago. Okay. Somebody says he needs an opt-in above the fold. Yes, he does, but he needs more than that. Okay. James, you need to make a prettier website. Now, if you don't know how to do it, don't take the time to learn to do it. Okay. You need to create a site, get a site created. Just go to, whether you look for people who do it on Fiverr.com and get a quote on making a basic website for yourself, or Upwork, or any freelance site. Don't spend months learning how to do this. For $100 or $200, you can get an awesomely updated site, and that's going to help conversion right off the bat. Okay, you're already getting traffic, which is great, okay? And you've been around for a long time, which is great. But you got to get an updated look. It does not. You don't need super graphics and to waste your website with a lot of graphics, like a lot of newer sites that you'll see, and we'll probably trip over a couple of those as I go through things. But the absolute number one thing you do is need to make a prettier website. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing, as somebody's already mentioned, we'll come to, is you need an opt-in form. You need a reason why people will join your list to get updated about your products, because unless they buy right now, they're not going to get updates from you. You can't remind them in the future to come back and buy. So you need to offer them some free training, free report, free information, the 17 things you never knew that viruses were doing to your body, or, super duper fast and easy fixes for viruses, or something that fits. I'm not really that awesome at coming up with health promos off the top of my head, but you know your business better than I do. You can do that. Okay? And then the next thing you need to do, especially if you want to get more free traffic, is to create specific pages for the illnesses that you're trying to help someone overcome. Okay? You got to be careful. I almost said cure, but you can't be curing stuff unless you've got FDA proof that you can cure stuff. But for things that you can help with treatment with, if you've got stuff like, like prostate problems, okay? So you've got this page, okay, titled, and by the way, well, in fact, I'm going to jump for a second. But you see this up here? This is the title of the page, okay? And your title of your page is ViralWay. So you could rank for ViralWay, but you're not gonna rank for any other term very easily where that's not in your title. When you go here to this page, the title is the Institute for Better Health, right? So you're telling Google that when they read this page, which you have about prostate treatment, they're going to read it and go, oh, this is the Institute for Better Health. And you're going to have a hard time ranking your page on prostate if the title is the Institute for Better Health. This also, by the way, for those of you that are doing work for other businesses, you see this kind of stuff all the time where you're able to go in and things that are going to be obvious to you, like, oh, look, you need to fix this, fix this, fix this, fix this, right? You think, oh, I have to find like all these secret nuances. Much of what you need to find is glaringly obvious when you just look at stuff like this, okay? So if we look at this page, besides the fact it's ugly, okay, you look at what you're emphasizing at the top of the page, okay? First of all, there's not a good headline for whatever this is about, pretty obviously, and you can't figure out which way to look first because there's so much stuff at the top. But if you look at this, you can see that we have the Institute for Better Health, the All Natural Choice, the email address, a phone number, the prostate program featuring the prostate massager and healthy prostate forum. Welcome you to review for treatment for prostate problems, okay, and prevent prostate cancer, and this whole big mess at the top. If you're going to draw people in and get them to actually read this stuff, needs a headline. Discover how you can get a healthier prostate and work to avoid prostate problems by following these 3 simple steps. Oh, hey, I'm interested in prostate health. I'm going to read that, okay? Something like that, and then you can subhead things or whatever, but you got to get rid of all this other stuff if you're going to do that. I'm just going to flip down and through here. See, and then this is just, generically stuff about this particular product in terms of what you're doing. And, I'm not going to go through all these specific products, but you have all this great information here. You just got to turn it into pages that can rank, because the good part about it is you have lots of information. And information and helpful information is what's going to help you rank and get traffic from Google, as opposed to if, for example, like a lot of sites, they would simply have like the prostate program combo #1 product, okay? And that's what they would have their page on and be trying to rank that product against all the other products, which is way harder than to rank articles about prostate health or shrinking your prostate or what to do with an enlarged prostate, et cetera, so you can do that, okay? And somebody said when you update this, they'd love to see the before and after screenshots of how to do this. How can you change the title of the page? It's actually in the page code, John. The WebFire tool will help you do that. But if I right-click and view the page source, okay, as soon as we get down through this stuff right here, somewhere right near the top, whoops, unless I missed it, hang on. Unless they don't even have a page title defined. Yeah, see right here where it says title? If this would actually highlight, you could see where I'm highlighting. There we go, see title, the Institute for Better Health. If I just change that and uploaded the page, it would change to whatever I put in there. Okay? Good, you're welcome. I love when I can actually answer things and it takes 10 seconds. This is my favorite questions to answer. Okay, so pretty much you guys can see that this needs a lot. And the other thing that I would definitely do, because one of the common themes that I see whenever we look at sites is you're not optimizing for specific keywords. You have all these pages, okay? Prostate, we have shingles, Hey, and see, there's all this great information, like what to do, how to treat shingles. He's got testimonials. This is all awesome. We just got to get this in a way that works for Google, because you can see, again, this page title is the Institute for Better Health, okay? It's not shingles treatment and information, okay? But if before I get started and do anything, what I would want to do is I'd want to take the keyword tool, and I would want to search shingles, okay? And it should pop, hopefully, if I didn't get timed out. There we go. So, when I search shingles, I'm going to get these 50 keywords that are the top 50 keywords in terms of searches in Google, and I can see these results as to what I should look at for things that I could go and possibly optimize to be able to write good articles for and optimize my pages for. Okay, I'm going to stop this search because we don't need to do it all. Okay, but when you go down through here, I'm not going to go through and read this. If you're not familiar with how the keyword tool works, you can watch the training on it. But really simple. Green is good. Red comes later. So you want to optimize for things that are green. Okay, and then you can later come back and work on things that are red. They're going to be harder to rank for. Okay. The other thing is to realize that there's lots of terms here that have searches that could get people to come in to your site. See, like this one here has 49,000 exact searches, right? Are shingles contagious? Yet, we're not finding anybody on the front page of Google for that's optimizing for those words, right? Yet, the only reason someone would ask that question is because they're around somebody who has shingles, right? So this would be a great page to optimize for. And you can, if you want more traffic, make more content pages. Don't have to be super long, 500 to 800 words. Get someone to write them if you want to, but if you wrote an article about are shingles contagious and what to do about it, and then referred them, if you or somebody that has shingles, we can help, go here, about the shingles virus, what causes shingles, shingles pain, right? Okay, and then there'll be more, and then you can work your way up to ones that have less competition, okay, or from the ones that have more competition, and as your site grows and gets more links, et cetera, and you do that. But do the keyword research first, because otherwise you're going to start fighting with the tougher sites to rank for, like the main site for shingles. Be much harder to rank for than are shingles contagious. And yet here's thousands of people every month that you could be picking off. Okay, makes sense? Okay, Andrew says, how do you change the source code? Doesn't it go back to the way it was before you changed it? No. But I can't change it just looking at it in my browser. I've got to save the page and upload it. So you've got to like get the page on from your server, change it, and then load the page back up on your server. Okay? I can't just change it in my browser, or else I'd go to your site, Anders. I'd be like, hey, Sean is a really cool guy. Go over here and get on Sean's list, and I'd just hack your site, right? So you have to actually be upload the page to your server to do that. Beth, how did I get to the HTML code? That was really easy. If you right-click, okay, at least on a PC, but you can do the same thing with a similar thing, and just view page source, and it just opens up the page source for the whole page. Okay. All right. Yeah, Andrew, you have to use FTP or some way to connect. On a Mac, it's similar. I just don't remember the code because I don't use a Mac. But do a quick search in Google and it'll tell you, because it's the same kind of thing. It's just a different code to pop that drop-down menu. All right. Someone was asking, how do you keep somebody else from changing your title? Well, that's why. Nobody can change your code without getting access to your server. Otherwise, everybody would. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, Beth, and you don't. Again, first of all, when you use the WebFire site analysis tool, like, hang on, let's do this real quick. Whoops. All right, let's do this because that's the first word on the page. Viralway.com. Okay. we're going to analyze this site. All right, and we'll come back to that in a second. All right, so next site is, yeah, all the trainings are in your account. There's a whole big training section, Perry, in your account with all of this stuff, including the one we're doing today. Okay, so this site's called mybestratedcoffeemakers.com. Okay, and you can see this has got lots and lots and lots and lots of coffee makers. Okay, and the problem with trying to rank this page, first of all, is it has lots and lots and lots of coffee makers, but it doesn't have anything specific that it's necessarily optimized for, other than you see the title, at least in this one, is much better. Best rated coffee makers, okay? Best rated coffee makers, okay. So we got some, specifics here on, we're at least focused on best rated coffee makers, all right? But there's other than this, there's no real, content on the page other than these descriptions of the actual coffee makers themselves that you can go and get, which I think are on Amazon. Yeah, so these are Amazon affiliate links, okay? But hang on, I'm going to come back here for a second. So coming back to this site, okay, you can see when you go do your site analysis, you got red stuff, okay? Red stuff needs fixed, okay? You don't have a title tag, you don't have a meta description tag, you have a heading tag, okay? Keyword density is good, you don't have a site map, you don't have schema markup, okay? Your technical performance is acceptable, probably because there's nothing pretty much but text on the site, okay? Your images don't have alt tags, but, hang on. Gotta close the go to webinar widget so I can go over here. But see, if I click on fix and follow the directions, that will walk me through fixing my title tag, okay? And the training goes through on how to do that, but that's, Beth, how you can just go ahead and get something like that fixed on your site, letting WebFire help you fix it there, okay? And you don't have to understand how it happened, you just have to follow the steps and you'll be able to do that for that kind of stuff, okay? All right, Henry, schema markup is, it's not vital. The internet existed fine without it, but you can't, it's one of those things where if you can add it, it gives another way for Google to be able to pull the data and the content from your site and optimize your results and being able to do that, okay? All right, let's go back to the best coffee makers. So this site, okay, let's do a quick search off this best rated coffee makers. Site analysis, hang on. Hang on. All right, let's do a quick search, and this will come up in a minute. But in the meantime, there's nothing wrong with this page, and this page is what it is, and if you're going to have a review site with a bunch of products on it, it ends up having to look like that. But if you're going to rank pages, you're going to have a hard time ranking this generally, because to Google, this doesn't necessarily mean much. It's just a bunch of coffee makers, and there's links down here to 221 pages of coffee makers, right? So if we want to rank this page, that's going to be really hard, okay? Instead, what we would need to do to try to bring people to this site and then bring them over to the coffee maker reviews or something is, again, content related to coffee, how to find the best coffee maker, anything related to somebody who's looking for coffee makers, okay? Let's see if this popped. So we're 60% optimized, okay, and we have a good chance of ranking for the keyword, okay? So we have it in the title tag, we have it in the meta keyword tag, or we don't. Don't have it in the description tag, okay? So you can see some of this stuff is done, some of it isn't, okay? And you can see there's lots of red that needs fixed, okay? When we look at keywords, this is how often these keywords occur, okay? And you notice when Google looks at this page, okay, first of all, how many different, keywords we pulled up for a lot of stuff. But you also notice that we've got coffee makers, details to add to wish list, UTC details add to wish, UTC details add to wish, right? So if I'm reading this page and I'm a computer, okay, then all of these words to me are what's important on the page, okay? This is why it's hard to rank a page like this, because yes, the word coffee maker appears more than anything else, but all these other terms are what is on the page. Details, add to, wish list, everything else before I get to coffee makers again, right? Check it out, read more, Amazon.com price, right? Okay, so you can see this page doesn't necessarily have a theme other than it's like a bunch of stuff and I could add to wish list. This site could as easily be about adding to a wish list as it could be about coffee makers, okay? And again, the site is what the site is, but if you want to rank pages, you got to give Google something that's more specific, like an article about best rated coffee makers that talks about coffee, that talks about whatever might be related to coffee, okay? You see the difference, okay? If I was to go search, in fact, best rated coffee makers, okay, let's see what comes up, okay? Well, besides all the advertisements and everything else, see, so the first one that shows up is Consumer Reports, because they're going to have a lot of backlinks, and then Good Housekeeping, and then CoffeeMakerPicks.com. Let's see, this is probably going to be the closest thing we have to. Okay. So now this site is a review site, just like that other site is, except that it doesn't. This isn't a page that has like hundreds and hundreds of coffee makers on it, right? This has 10. Okay, well, it actually has more. Well, okay, it has 10. Okay, it said it had 10 at the top, but you notice that it's got lots of content. Okay, and then it's got, searching for your best coffee maker, which links back to its homepage. Okay, and for whatever reason, we get a security warning on the front page, which doesn't really help a lot. They need to fix that. Okay, but they talk about automatic coffee makers, coffee drinkers, features of brewing, making coffee easy, getting a drip coffee maker. All right, you see how they're writing content that is related to what's going on, okay? And if you notice, whoever wrote this didn't say, oh, I bought every coffee maker in the world and here's what happened, okay? This one, instead, consumers who bought Bonavita coffee maker shared a common theme in their reviews. In other words, this person simply went out, looked at the different reviews for the product, summarized what people did, like or didn't like, made a pros and cons list about what people liked and didn't like, okay? And then pulled in a video, which I'm sure is pulling off of somewhere else. They've got the Amazon rating, and if we click to see the product, we would go to Amazon, okay? So this is the exact same concept, but completely different. Who can fix the security message? You need somebody who's got access to the server to go in and fix it, whatever's done with that, okay? So if it's got to be somebody with enough programming skills to figure out what's wrong with the page that it's causing that security message. But you see how this is a completely different way to go about doing reviews of coffee makers than doing all of this and the way in which it pulls up in themes. Whoops, hang on one second. I lost myself. And in fact, if we, hang on, best drip coffee makers, hang on. This is their main keyword. But I'm just really curious, when we see what the keyword analysis is on that page, we'll see that it's really different, okay? All right, Johnson says, okay, yeah. For this ranking, you're saying you're ranking individual pages for these. So that's good then. And so, Johnson, you're saying you're ranking like this page for the KitchenAid that you're pulling in traffic for. All right, let you answer that. Let's see if this pull the answer. Okay. So oddly enough, so this site, which doesn't have a lot of great stuff, okay, at least has a sitemap, okay, and is missing stuff, but excuse me. Whoops. Why don't I have the keywords? Yeah. Okay. So run this analysis again. I don't know why it didn't pull in the keywords for me. It always helps if it does what I want it to do when I want it to do when we're live on the webinar. Okay. So I don't know why it's not pulling the keywords. It must be something how the way they've coded the site that's not letting us access all the keywords on the page. But anyway, you get the idea of how these two things are completely different. Okay. Yeah, it didn't help that you're right. Somebody just typed in that I typed in drop instead of drip. But nonetheless, even with that, it should have been able to pull in the keywords that are listed on the page. Okay. So anyway, if we go back, because now you got me curious. This is the joy of being live. Okay. So much fun to do this stuff live and see what you can screw up in front of people. Okay. At least you guys are paying attention, because I didn't even know I typed drop instead of drip. All right, let's see what else we got here. Hang on, this should pull up in a second. All right, still don't have a title tag, still don't have a bunch of stuff, but however they've coded this site, we're not reading this site. Correctly. So I don't know why that is. Anyway, we're not going to waste any more time analyzing a site for somebody that we just happen to randomly trip over. But anyway, guys, got some ideas on that and where we need to go. Okay, next site, so we can keep moving along and see several sites here, is called moneymakingideas.com. And this is Mark, who has this site. Okay. And this site, in terms of formatting, first of all, I really hate this background, but that's just me personally. I'm not saying that it's going to make a huge difference whether or not things work. I just don't particularly like it. This headline is the headline on a sale page, although this is actually really a pre-sale page. And if we scroll all the way down, we can go here to hate your job, click here. Now, there's a great example of the difference between this page and the next page. Because the next page is what's being promoted, and here's my friend Andrew Reynolds. Okay. You notice that this site, okay, which is well done, okay, is really simple. Look at the difference between this site and the other sites we've actually looked at generally, right? Okay. Headline. No mystery about what to look at, right? Big headline. Okay. Okay. All right. Link, just tell me where to ship this. Enter your shipping details, right? It's really clear what to do. Okay. Claim your free book and bonuses. Boom. Click, click. Okay. Then yes, there's other detailed information. Look at another link to click and do it. Okay. All right. And again, another link to click and do it. All right. But see, when someone lands on a page and you want them to do something, you need to tell them what to do. And this site does a good job of it. Okay. Now, jumping back to this site, which is the affiliate site that's pre-selling going to the next page, okay? When you look at this page, okay, in order for someone to get the free book, you're making them go all the way down the page through all of this pre-sale stuff, which is great, okay, that you're sharing all of this. But if I don't want to go, okay, through all of this because I'm in a hurry, I don't have time, I'm on my phone, and all you're really trying to do is get me to go from here over to the next page where I could actually, get my free book, then you need to shortcut it. You also need to change. I would change this banner because and have more links to get over there. But you hate your job, click here. I mean, it isn't really obvious necessarily that this is what the summation of the letter is, that I hate my job and I should click here to go do something else, right? But I would definitely have either an opt-in box right at the top, in a big headline that gets them to opt in, or, even something that's like, hey, you can get here, you can literally steal this headline: free Sunday Times bestseller book will show you a simple way to make all the money you ever need. Boom, click here to get your free book, sends them right over to that page. And then you could say, hey, if you want to read a little bit more about me, you can down below, but if you'd like to get your free book, go get your free book, okay? All right. So and you could see how that would make a difference if someone's going to land on this page, that you could make it easy for them to go from this page to this page very quickly, because if they don't want to read all this, they just want the free book, then you win and they win, right? They zoom through, you get the sale that you're looking to get, okay, for the referral, and life is good, okay? So that makes a huge difference. Now, this page, I'm going to almost promise you, but we'll go find out really quickly. Okay, which is money making ideas. Okay. I can't tell you that it doesn't rank, but I'm willing to bet that it doesn't rank. Right, so it does. I just wanted to see if it ranked in the top 10 because I hadn't looked. Still analyzing. Okay, that'll be done in a second. When we look at this page, right, this is a pre-sale page with a lot of content, okay, that is telling a story, and it's like a sales letter, right? So this page is not made to rank, so it's not shocking that it doesn't rank, because sales pages generally won't rank. Content pages will, okay? And so when we come back here and look at this, okay, this is optimized from the standpoint of title tags and everything else, but what we don't have is probably really good focus. See, we use money making and money making ideas and stuff, and so that's all good. Notice the difference in this page versus the coffee maker page in terms of, Google reading it and finding out what it's about, okay? Off page we've got, okay, not listed in demos, Alexa ranking, I don't care about that. So we need to get backlinks because right now you have 0, okay? And so we need to get more backlinks coming in. But again, this isn't the best page to rank, as opposed to content pages about money making ideas, how to make money online. You do your keyword research, and then rank pages, and then either refer them over to this pre-sale page or drop them directly over to Andrew's page to get the free book, okay? Because we don't need to run them from a content page about awesome ideas of how to make money online through this whole page to get to Andrew's page, right? We just go right to Andrew's page because Andrew's offer is a really simple offer, right? Okay, and that doesn't require a lot of pre-sale to convince them to go get a free book, versus I want a lot more pre-sale if I was trying to convince them to go buy like a $497 course, right, or a $2,000 course. But in this case, it's a free book. All right, give you some ideas on that. Okay, so this is Tech Solution people, and here in America, the tax agency known as the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, chases people down for money. So you'll see like this in Trouble with the IRS, the trailer. Okay, so these guys who I really don't mean to be funny. Presumably John and Wanda are husband and wife because they both have the same last name, and one of their specialties is to help people who have tax problems, especially people that are in tax collection situations and everything else. Okay, so what they're looking to do is get their site ranked to get more people to come find their site when they've got a tax problem, because there are lots of people with tax problems and they need help. And in case you didn't know, when you have a tax problem, the last thing you want to do is try to solve it yourself, or talk to the IRS yourself, or talk to anybody from the government yourself about it, because you'll just make whatever is wrong worse, generally speaking. It will not get better with your unskilled help. It will make it much, much worse in many cases. So don't do that. Okay? There's John. John just said true. Yes. I remember I used to practice law, and my big advice was don't talk to anybody. Okay? So when we look at this site, hey, this site, similar to when we looked at the ViroWay site earlier, right? There's a lot of things related to content here, okay? But when we get to the main site, we first of all got to figure out what to do, okay? Probably, if I scroll down a little bit, I can, right off the bat, easy steps to end your tax nightmare. Call us, free consultation, which is great. And that's definitely something you want to do. But the other thing that you could do, assuming it's not on here, but I didn't see it, is you could also offer to get them on your email list and give them some free report, like, that whatever fits, the 7 things you should never do when you owe the government money, okay? Number 1, not pay them. That's what you should never do, okay? So the, all right, so on this site, there's a couple different things that I want to talk about. One is, the first is, when you come to this site, there's a lot going on, because you're trying to address a lot of things all in one page. And I think that you could clean this up and make this easier on someone trying to figure out what to do. And for that, I would just go look at some competitor sites and see, like, one that you look at and go, wow, they're just doing a little bit smoother than me. Okay. This page is not a page made to rank, so we're not going to try to figure out if it ranks. But when it comes to ranking for these terms, tax liens, tax relief, offers in compromise, all this kind of stuff, the main terms themselves, I'm sure, are hard to rank for, because first of all, they're commonly used terms. There's going to be a lot of information about them from big financial websites, besides people like you that want to rank for them. But while you do work nationally, I think that one of the things you want to do is start to create content pages if you don't otherwise have them. And you might, for example, have them. Let's go to your news blog where we would have content. Okay. See, so here's content, okay? Posted on June 20th and some other stuff, okay? This information, if you're going to write an article, John, you got to come up with better headlines, like we were talking about the other stuff, without making a complete enemy of the people you have to deal with at the IRS. You could almost be inflammatory. How the IRS is using private companies to screw taxpayers out of more money or something. You don't want to overstate or misrepresent that. Okay, but you know, obviously being more sensational will get you more attention. But my suggestion in terms of looking to rank, first of all, would be to try to compete more on a more of a local level. Now, I'm not talking about small towns because you need enough people, but if I remember, you guys are in someplace in Texas, right? Oh, we have Trixie. I love Trixie. Trixie's nice. Yeah, you guys are in oh, I'm sorry, Tennessee. Okay. Yeah, so you're in Tennessee. So I would target, like, I don't know where Hickson is, but presumably there's like there's big cities closer to you. Is where I start with. Okay, because people, okay, Chattanooga. Okay, great. So people tend to, certainly I do, think of, you know, if I need tax, accounting, you know, professional legal help, I start with somebody local that I can, you know, go to their office and meet, because most people would think you have to go to their office and meet. Now, I do happen to have attorneys that I use and deal with that are nowhere near me for specialized things, but for the most part, you know, people are going to think about finding somebody local. So I'd be, you know, trying to you know, rank for things like, you know, Chattanooga tax liens, Chattanooga whatever, okay, and be able to start ranking for that, because, you know, there's lots of people in trouble in Chattanooga, and you can make a good living just on those people. And then I work my way through the state and beyond, and you know, and I mean, even down into, you know, you're literally almost in Georgia once you're in Chattanooga, so, you know, you can aim for, you know, the northern Georgia communities as well. But so that's where I'd be trying to rank more than trying to fight the national ranking thing, because you're up against such stiff competition. You're not going to be able to do that, but you don't need all the traffic from that, or it's not worth it your while to go get that, as much as it's, hey, you know, if we can go be picking off clients, you know, just from Tennessee, that would be really awesome, right? Okay. And so those are definitely things I would do. And I, you know, like I said, I would look at trying to make it there. And then all of this, we have resources, hang on. All right, so like you have tax organizers, financial questionnaires, taxpayer bill of rights, these things, you know, anything that you can give people as to make yourself a resource. You know, somebody's in trouble with the IRS, they come to your site, they could get free reports, free information, learn like what they're facing, what the process is like, all this kind of stuff, because they have no idea what they're doing. When this happens, they just know they've gotten letters from the IRS, and they've been ignoring the letters from the IRS, and strangely enough, in ignoring letters from the IRS, you know, the situation didn't get better. Okay, and you know, so this is all good that, you know, we can solve this problem, but for somebody who they're not ready to actually talk to anybody yet, and they're not sure who they should talk to, part of your website's job is to convince them that you people are the people to talk to, because you've helped so many people in their situation just like them, and, you know, this is what you're facing, and here's how quickly you can deal with this. And as I'm sure you well know, the nightmare that people have is they don't know what to do. They expect that it's going to cost them a fortune, and some of them, and huge problems, it's going to cost them a bunch of money, just how you get paid, so that's fine. But they don't know where to begin, and they're so overwhelmed, and anything you can do to alleviate the feeling of overwhelmness and get them to understand, you know, what you say right on this page. You know, we'll contact the IRS on your behalf within 24 hours, you know, and really the next part of it is and you'll never have to talk to them again as long as we represent you, right? I mean, they don't have to talk to them. They don't have to be alone anymore. They don't have to be wondering what's going to happen to them, because you could tell them what's going to happen to them, and, you know, what their legal rights are and what the process is, and depending upon their situation, what they can do. Okay. And so I think you're off to a great start here, but you've got to work on trying to do that. Marvin said that's powerful. They should put that at the top of the page. Yes, thank you, Marvin. Because this is, I mean, seriously, for those of you that have ever had tax problems, okay, and I've talked to people that have had significant ones. I mean, it's like this nightmare, and it's something you don't know what to deal with. So, how do we end the nightmare for somebody? Now, we can't magically make the taxes go away because they owe taxes because they got money, right? But we can, represent them and do a good job and help them out along the way. Okay, and like I said, so I'm not going to search the ranking on this page because for U.S. Tax Solutions for the homepage, because this is not a page made to rank. This is a business homepage. It's if anything, would just rank the actual business name. Okay, good site name though. U.S. Tax Solutions. But those are the things I would do to try to convince more people to convert on the website, as well as to get more people just to start to build them up on the list, because if you build the email list, I have no idea what the numbers are, but I'm absolutely certain that people get notifications, or they know they're about to have something bad happen, and they start looking for information, but they're not ready to take action yet. And if you've got them on the list and you can be dripping an email on them periodically, and every time there's any reason at all to send them a newsletter every Friday, the crazy things that happened in the tax world this week or whatever, and there's always something that gets reported, certainly, then you've just got a reason to stay in front of them. And when they're finally decide to do something, they'll be like, oh, these nice people keep sending me emails. I should just contact them. They're the only expert that I even know who they are, because I don't know any of these other people because they're not doing that. Okay, so you don't even need a complex follow-up system. It's just the ability to follow up, the ability to be top of mind, to be in their inbox when it's time. Okay, there you go. All right. Well, awesome. Sorry, April just jumped on and said, Shauna, I hope members watch the replay and follow the advice you give them. I followed your advice, and I'm now ranking #3 on the first page of Google for my main keyword. Sweet. All right. Excellent news, April. Congratulations. That's great. Okay. By advice, Nora, she means in general, and as I'm going through and analyzing these pages, because you could see commonalities when we look at these pages of what's going on with a lot of people. All right. See, we got a little more time. Okay. This site is called the natural-alternative-2.com. Okay, and the title tag on this is Hymenar's Your World. Okay, and we're all about Dr. Neuriter's feet. Okay, probably the first true healing device, the stunning Harmony United technology. Okay, here we go. Again, on the home page, you guys probably know what's the first thing you're looking for on a page when you come to the site, right? First of all, everything you see here, and then, of course, let's get a headline. Let's get something on this page that draws everybody in, right, to want to read more information about all these posts. Now, there's, several different posts on here with specific information, but there isn't anything that draws this all together with a headline that's about what problem is going to solve for me, or what benefits I'm going to get out of this, or anything else. And again, this page is not a page as the home page that's necessarily going to rank. Okay, something like Harmony and Cancer might be a page that could rank depending upon what's on it. And this is really slow to open. Okay, there we go. All right, but you can see this is the title of this page, right, or the title of this article, Harmony and Cancer. Okay, it's the title on the page, Harmony and Cancer, Harmonize Your World. Okay, now I don't know that that's not a big search term, but I'm going to guess no. All right, and then there's this article and information about Harmony and Cancer. But again, even if I'm having an article, first of all, I want that article title to draw somebody in and use keywords that would rank. Okay, So depending upon what we're is in this article related to this, again, you do your keyword research, you optimize the article by talking a little bit about the keyword, get the keyword in the headline, get the keyword in your title tag that you want to rank for, okay? A couple people wrote, I have no idea what this is about. I understand. I don't know without digging in what it's about either, but if you want people to respond, you can't make them have to wonder. Somebody wrote they need an opt-in page. Yes, they do, because again, it's going to be something where you want people to want to be able to follow up with people and sell them not only your product, but other people's products, right? As an affiliate, you want to get them on your list so you can make money from them. You can't get them on your list if you don't get them to opt in and to join, all right? And I'm really not sure what to search any of these pages on that really look like keyword optimized pages to see about ranking, so I can't do that. Okay, thank you, Perry. All right, fitnessgear.biz. Okay, this is a review site, an affiliate review site, okay? You'll see like there's a review about Truth About Abs and a review about Fitbit, okay? And so these are nice reviews, and individually, they're, for those of you that have blogs, you know, you have a home page that kind of all your blog articles pop into. So instead of working on the home page, let's just click through and look at a more specific page like this page, okay, where we're talking about Truth About Abs, okay, which is a course on you can digital product you can buy on ClickBank or be an affiliate for through ClickBank, the big affiliate network, okay? So you look at this page, and what's the first thing you see? Really big pictures, okay? And they look really cool. But those pictures don't do anything to really enhance the page, to make a sale, they're not helping with search engine rankings, right? I mean, they're really not doing anything at all to make my life better as a website. So they need to like get out of the way. I mean, if you wanted to use them later on down the page, but right now they take up lots of space, and somebody said they even have little emotion, okay? And so this is the headline way down here, but I got to go look to see that. We also have these ads, which I'm going to guess are affiliate ads. Yeah, okay, I was just curious if they're AdSense ads. No, so those are affiliate ads, and that's fine as long as that's, you're making money from those banners being there, then it's a good thing. And if you're not making money from those banners because you were trying to optimize to sell the Truth About Abs course, then you would want to get rid of those banners or move them down the page, because right now everything's competing for your attention. Now, of course, the banners are supposed to. They're ads that somebody wants to click on, right? But you can see that there's lots going on. Now, if I go to a lot of sites that are made to be just get people to the site so they can click on ads, then that's okay, right? Ads are not a bad thing, just when you're making money from people clicking on them, right? Then if we come down here and we need to see the Truth About Abs, okay, and the review of it and everything else, and then we can come down here. Whoops, sorry, went too far. Okay, and down here, get the Truth About Abs. So this is kind of a subtle link. If you're going to go to all of the work to make a review site, then which is good. Okay, and you've got other links in here to other sites. Okay, but I would take this Truth About Abs link and I'd make it really big. Truth About Abs gets our highest recommendation. Click here to buy Truth of Abs now or whatever. I mean, I would make it really an obvious link and what they should do, because that's probably where you're making your biggest payoff. So I would definitely want to do that as opposed to dropping down here and getting them to be like, oh wait, I want to like barbecue like a rock star with Kid Rock, okay? Because these little ads are not going to make you as much as making $30 or $40 or $50 from Truth About Abs, right? Okay, And so again, a lot of stuff going on this page, which isn't a bad thing if the content brings people in and every visitor makes you money. But you've got to decide where people go and where visitors make you money. The truth about ads is going to be a brutal term to rank for because it's been around for a while, and so would Fitbit. Finding fitness serenity on a dragon boat. Okay, so here's an article that I think comes off CNN. It just comes in, yeah, so that it's just bringing in content. You know, here's one about, or really a promotion for Brain Booster. I was just trying to see if there's anything we could see how the page ranks, and there's a whole lot of products down here. Okay, so not really much for me to look at and try to figure out what actually ranks or doesn't rank along the way. All right, let me jump back. So while I look at this last one, y'all want to go to our WebFire group and leave a comment. We're going to give away $100 here in a few minutes. If you've never been here before, we do this every week. Leave comments on our training because we always want to get your feedback. Look for the post at the top of see this post right here? Whoops, no, not that post. Hang on. Sorry, Andrew made a post that I think jumped in at the top. Forget Andrew's post. Somewhere here. All right. It'd be good if I could there we go. See this one here? It says, how did everyone enjoy WebFire training? Comment right underneath that. Look, everybody's jumping in. Okay, perfect. Okay, you guys do that, and I'm going to go talk about this one real quick. Okay. So this is FamBam, Care, Share, and Wear. This is a personalized apparel and gifts ideas. So I'm not sure if this is built on Shopify, but it's a Shopify type store. This is powered by WooCommerce, but same general concept. Okay. Now, like all e-commerce sites, it's very visual heavy, especially on the home page, which generally speaking, it should be because that's the whole point of this kind of stuff, right? But we're not going to rank our home pages generally. I mean, unless somebody's searching for the FamBam store, right? No one's going to be like, hey, listen, I'm going to look for a FamBam product unless they know what it is. All right, so that's not going to rank. What we're going to need to work on doing is trying to rank if somebody's looking for, specific T-shirts. Okay, so it's a baseball mom of Austin. Okay, so if we did that, that's really cool. Now, if you are optimizing, you have all this stuff for Austin, okay, that's good. So what do you want to do? You want to change your title and your keywords around so that if someone were to type in, and when somebody sees them, they probably will, but like Austin baseball mom shirt, okay, all right, so see two things. So Etsy shows up, different stuff, but really nobody's ranking for that specific term. So it'd be really easy to rank for. And then when you tag your images, right, you want to tag them so this would show up. See how baseball mom shows up here, okay, on Pinterest and baseball mom, I mean, it's a common term, right? But if you're baseball mom Austin, you get to rank for baseball mom Austin, okay? Hey, for you, those of you guys that just had to join WebFire to jump in to the Facebook group, just refresh your page as soon as you do. Sharon's approving you as fast as you guys request approval, but you got to refresh your page usually to be able to post. Okay. See the first ranking from Cafe Press is titled "Go Austin Baseball Jersey." Okay, Austin baseball jersey, Austin baseball jersey. See how they're all first? Hello, my name is Austin baseball jersey. Okay, see how those are all there? Cafe Press, of course, has people sitting around with nothing better to do than make all these different things. But you see how it works, okay? So that, Brad, go to getwebfire.com/FB group. It's probably in the chat box right down below the Q&A thing that you're looking at right now. and you can do that. But anyway, so you get the idea, and that's going to be the best way to try to rank specific e-commerce items is image names and changing the product titles where someone's going to be able to grab this, right? You don't need a lot of explanation and content about it's a shirt, right? I mean, it's a T-shirt. It's 100% quality guaranteed. It's, if it's made in the USA, put made in the USA. If it's whatever, the only things I would add in here is like what it's made out of, because I don't think you have that. But if it's 100% cotton, whatever, and then you would just like if you put your name and name of the child. I'm not sure what this does. Jimmy is number 9. Let's see what happens when Jimmy's number 9. We're loading my design. Oh, look, this is Baseball Mom with Jimmy. That's awesome. Okay. If you can change the name of that button from search to create, that'd make a huge difference, because I didn't know what that did, and you got to put directions on there. To see your customized or see your personalized shirt, put in your child's name and number and hit create. You'll get a whole lot more response than search, because I didn't know what I was searching for. That was completely random. Okay, and in all seriousness, when you guys are doing stuff on your site, one of the hardest things to do when you guys know how your whole site works is nobody else knows. So I would never tell you to go randomly ask your friends and neighbors for sales and marketing advice. But the one thing you can do, if you don't explain to them what your site's supposed to do and you stick them in front of it, and you say to them, okay, so what do? You can just watch like where they move the mouse and see like where they kind of get confused on pages like this, and you'll like instantly know, oh yeah, I could do that. We could clarify that. We can make it much simpler for people to be able to jump in and be able to do that. Okay? So, all right, good stuff. Guys, finish posting your comments. We're going to go give away money and wrap up another exciting marketing week. All right. So along the way. Okay. Lots and lots of comments rolling in. Let's go get random.org set up here and be ready to go. Boom. Okay. All right. I see people trying to get in and join. The comment count is rising. And Archibald mentioned me in a comment. See, I can watch these notices and do that. Okay, good. Francis, glad he got it fixed. That's good. Okay. All right. Bruce says, great webinar, learns a lot. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Amelia, you should be able to comment right there, right underneath that picture. Just like show and tell. Look at it. This is fun watching it go. We could just sit here all day and watch the comment count roll up. All right. Anybody have any last quick questions while we're just giving people a chance to question? Refresh your page, Amelia. You probably didn't get it. Just joined, and it should be there. For instance, if you search there's a lot of content on the answer to the mailing rules in Canada, because yes, they have created their own incredibly unique and annoying law that you've got to deal with. Jay, yeah, we'll be doing more website reviews in the future. We do them about once a month because we get tons and tons of requests for all this different stuff. Marvin, yes, so the website evaluation tool, the analysis, works for Shopify stores. There's also specific training on Shopify stores, and the schema tool, we have specific coding for you to use and directions to use it with Shopify stores, because we got a lot of Shopify store people. And Jeff says there's a backlink question above. Oh, okay. Jeff asked, I keep hearing about backlinks. Are they the most important thing in ranking? Not necessarily the most important thing, but they're one big factor. One of the ways that Google says, is your website important or not, is, does anybody else think it's important enough to link to it? Okay? Because back in the early days of the internet, how do we figure out what's important? Well, other people saying this is a good site, so that's how we knew. And that developed the concept that, you know, inbound links to your site are valuable. There's a bunch of things in our training on how to get more backlinks. And so if you go through some of the basic training, you'll see information about how to do that. You can use everything from simply, you know, doing guest blog posts to posting using the real-time lead finder on forums and blogs, and there's a bunch of other strategies you can use to get good quality backlinks. Especially for less competitive terms, you don't need a huge number of backlinks, but you'd be amazed the difference between having 0 and even, you know, 7, 8, 9 backlinks. It's a big, big difference because you're beating out your competition at that point. The other thing is that those links will in many cases almost randomly get you traffic where you don't even know how people found your website. You're like, oh, look, people showed up. That's really cool. Okay. All right. All right. So let's do this. We're gonna. We've got 40 comments, assuming nobody's typing right now. Oh, I think we might have. We have 40. Good. All right. 0 to 40. And the winner is number 2. Wow, this is like way too easy. We can count from 1 to 2. 1, 2, Stephanie Redshaw, you're the winner. Congratulations. If you'll post up your email address in the website chat box, we're there, and be able to do that. Be in good shape. For instance, yes, we did there's a WebFire software update in like the last week. If you just follow the directions to update, you should be good. All right. So everybody, congratulations on being here, taking action. Go take all this content and information and start applying it to your sites, client sites, everything else. And we'll be back with another webinar same time next week. Look forward to having you all there. Good. Stephanie, see your email address. We're all good and be able to do that. Thanks, everybody, and have a great week.